All right, we're live. It's 6 o'clock.
We'll begin the committee meeting. Since Christina's not here, we'll start with public safety. So Matt, you've got a few things to discuss, so we'll let you go first.
All righty. The first thing that I have on here, I attached a mutual aid agreement with our fire department. Basically, across the city, we can use often as a mutual aid partner, which means they'll send basically an engine company with 4 people on it, certified and trained, plus a safety officer to any of our structure fires, as well as providing, if we need a tanker, they have a 4,000-gallon tanker that they'll send across. To me, it's an advantage for the citizens of Glenwood, also at the service levels, because right now, depending on what time of day and basically structure fires, even what I'm getting from the outsider and volunteer departments, I may be only getting 6 more people. That's it. And a lot of them are untrained, uncertified. We have full beards that are trying to fit into an SCBA mask. To me, this is a safer option for our staff, both paid and volunteer, and also for our citizens. And I know they've timed it and they can get here within 12 minutes going the Bellevue Bridge route. Once the construction gets done off the runway, they'll be here in a lot quicker time coming across 34 Bridge. So basically I've had Skylar, who does a lot of our EMS and fire contract, and he basically said it's the Air Force, that's their agreement, and he doesn't see anything wrong with it.
So he reviewed this. Did Matt Woods get a look?
I sent it to Matt Woods. Matt Woods usually tells me that whatever Skylar says, because he's not familiar with these. So basically I'm asking that we sign that as a city, which gives us a pretty good advantage with any type of scenario. They'll page off it, we'll still page the other departments, but for Malvern cutting clear over here, it's cutting, you're looking 16 minutes, maybe longer, depending on, these guys are actually at 2 stations in Offutt, and if they have the personnel available, it's in the plus they have other resources over there as well. And on top of that, Offutt is going to be building a brand new training center in the next 2 to 3 years, which is also being offered up as training. And anytime they go to any training classes, we can send our personnel over there as well. So that's what I'm asking for, and that is for the city to enter into that agreement. There's a line item on it, but you guys have any questions on it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Any questions? Have you reviewed it?
Mm-hmm. Looks good. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay. The other one I sent out was the Malvern mutual aid agreement that was sent out to the city of Emerson. Malvern was going to take over Emerson's territory for EMS response, which since then they've agreed to go to Red Oak. But I do have an issue because I was never consulted on this as a fire chief. They just sent it over there and used our tier agreement as if Malvern doesn't have coverage, Glenwood or Silver City, or even Red Oak would cover. To me, that's not a very good show of good faith. It also increases my territory, which means we're going 20 to 25 minutes clear out to Emerson if Silver City doesn't respond. And now that that's kind of a moot point, but I just want to make sure that I've had Skylar review this. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. But I think we need to probably send a letter to Malvern Rescue because they're using us as basically their crutch. And it really concerns me because if they're going to go and pick up the territory and they can't even run the calls they have now, it's going to increase our call volume plus take away our personnel from our primary response areas.
And how do they commit you to something without having a conversation?
That was my question, because I never even knew that they were doing this until the Red Oak City Administrator sent me the contract the day before. I was not involved in any of the meetings. I heard a rumor that John Stacy, who's the chief of Silver City Rescue, was included in some of those meetings, but they did not include me or ask me about it at all. The only thing that I got told was Travis brought it up at an ESA meeting, Travis Hitchcock, the communications director, said, well, if they enter into that agreement, it's just gonna be backup to backup to backup, which is the way that they work things now. And sometimes that can get into a very hairy situation because we may be going to Malvern, we get a call here. We're either, if I have any volunteers, they come in, or if they call for our paramedic and they take one of our paramedics out of town, then we're having somebody else, like either an EMT that's coming in off shift, or even a volunteer that's gonna come in and drive the next call. So, but they do pay us $250, which isn't enough by any means, for using our paramedic when they go out of town. But it's usually due to they need cardiac medications because they don't have a paramedic. And there's some other things that go in with that, like, if they need to RSI somebody, because Glenwood is the only ambulance service in Mills County that can RSI. And RSI means that they can put you to sleep, paralyze you, and intubate you like they would for surgery. When we have to protect somebody's airway because they're having either, could be a trauma head injury, or it could be some kind of medical issue where we're having to intubate. Sometimes that takes several people in the back of the ambulance to do that. And our paramedics are the only ones that can actually put them out, the drugs that we carry. So they do call us for that type of thing, which is a great thing because then we got the airway protected, we get that person to the hospital, they survive. But I have real problems when other agencies are making agreements, not notifying us to increase their territory because of a pride issue. And then we're left holding the bucket at the end of the day. So I think there's something that once that gets reviewed, I guarantee it was not reviewed by an attorney. I think it was just one of the Mountain Rescue Association does themselves, and they just send it out. So
We
what
can
says
expect
that?
to hear from Tyler, or Skylar.
I emailed him today. I'll call him again tomorrow morning. As soon as I hear, I think we should probably, as a city and fire department, we need to come up with a letter maybe to send to them that if they're going to enter in any negotiations to extend their territory, then we need to be involved in those because they're using our tier agreements in those contracts.
Okay. So just keep us posted then.
And I do have the fire department bathroom quotes. I will grab them real quick.
I thought we already approved those.
Well, you didn't approve the actual one.
Oh.
We just went through them to approve the amount.
Okay,
So I just wanted to make sure it was official that we approved it finally.
okay, gotcha.
So if you want to go on to something else, I'll be right back.
Is that on for a official? Oh, yeah, it's not.
Yeah. The side aisle. Isn't on it. But that, oop, nope, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
See ya.
Well, he looks for those. Do you want to go on to another item? And I'm not sure.
You want-
Yeah, he said go ahead and move. I think he said go ahead and move forward because he didn't know he was going to go. So.
Well, we could do police for city impound lot. They might be back. And then we can finish up on that. So Eric?
Sure. So I could not get Beacon to cooperate with me, so I did not get a printout of the exact location, but on Railroad Avenue, there is a sewer pump station, lift station, not quite sure what terminology they use exactly, but that helps process the sewage down to the main plant. To the north of that field, there's an empty field that's owned by the city. It's between the actual station and Sharp Blades property. That field has a small drainage ditch in the middle of it. I had talked to Mike Darnold, who said that they might need room for expansion when they do the sewer project that's been discussed, but I don't think it's in motion quite yet. But the property from that drainage ditch to the north. We would like to explore, I guess, creating or having an impound lot for police department use for sure, possibly code enforcement, and I should say code enforcement and police department use, and possibly the sheriff's office, depending on what agreements we might be able to make in the future. There's a few hurdles that we're gonna have to overcome. Confirmed with Matt Gray today that it isn't a floodway. He's been talking with somebody, I believe it was from the DNR, to see if we can give them the dimensions and kind of a rough sketch to what we're looking at, that it still might be possible to utilize that. And we're not talking about anything fancy, we're talking about fencing and then throwing some rock, having a place to store impounded vehicles, which then the city can recoup storage fees. I'm sure there would be some pass forward costs with the tow services, where we probably end up having to pay for the tow and then we charge the person that owns the vehicle for the tow, as well as the storage fees.
Would we need to have cameras on there to watch the security part of it?
Possibly.
Expensive.
There's, like I said, we're still kind of in the early stages of exploring this, which I'm not sure what the capabilities are with that lift station, if they have any type of internet at that building or not. I'm gonna guess not at that current one, the new one maybe, I don't know. We may not get any traction with the DNR to be able to even place it there to begin with. So, but I did want to, Matt and I both wanted to bring it up, just as something that we've been working on, in hopes that we might be able to bring it before you here in the near future. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
About how many cars do you impound a year?
Varies. Us personally, probably, without looking at numbers, I'm gonna guess 15 to 20. Not a crazy amount. The ones that become problematic are like the two that are currently at the city shed, at the city yards. We can't dispose of those, and Matt's having some difficulty getting anywhere with being able to dispose of those. So therefore, they're still stuck, like I say, in the way, but something more for them to work around. Whereas if we had this lot, they could be stuck in the back corner and stored for a longer term without having a hindrance on.
And Matt's got a property that's got a few like a boat, doesn't it?
Correct.
Sitting there. We don't have a place to go.
But there's nothing anywhere that would say we'll only hold it for a certain period of time before
Well, that would-
we can do something with it.
There's some state codes that we can enact. The ones that are currently at the city shed, there's some complications there from a crime scene that
Oh,
is, I guess, lengthened what we're doing there. And now rendering service, which I need to get with Matt on. We can probably get something going, but again, in the future, it could be a potential revenue source for the city. Want to talk about scooters?
I heard a door coming back, so. Maybe get a bigger pattern now.
Thank you.
There's a total of 3 bids. This is basically to completely gut and remodel both bathrooms down at the fire station. The one I'm suggesting going with is going to be Whitetail Construction, or not, I'm sorry, Whitetail Construction will do the electric, but it's Koch Construction. They came in under what the other two did, and seemed to know a little bit about what he was doing. One of them I wasn't really overly impressed with. They, also the letter kind of breaks it down with each one. Each.
The total of 52, the one you recommended, that we
Yeah,
actually approved.
yeah, we approved it not to go over a certain dollar amount. That's where the others they were all within the same ballpark except for the one. He was way, way high. So, like I said, I wasn't really overly enthusiastic with that one. Had a lot of problems getting the quote from him.
Thanks.
Have an action item.
So, yeah, there should be an action item on the agenda for it. So. And he can start August 1st. And the guys will just have to use the shower over at the other house and bathroom there.
Did you say how long?
Not sure if I have to break the concrete to remove some of the plumbing to resituate it. And then each bathroom will be handicap compliant. So when we do have events, you do have that option when we do have events. And then if the city does make it a convention center down or a community center down the road, the bathroom will be obviously. And the showers will be big, because right now, they're just plastic inserts, and some of the guys get in there and they're a little taller than the plastic inserts. And I'm surprised they haven't knocked one over yet.
No, not till we start council. That's just,
Yep.
if you had any questions now, but I think we can move on then and start talking about chapter 77, e-scooter and skateboards, and maybe e-bikes. I don't know if that was part of it or they were on.
The bicycles have their own section.
They're their own
so-
second, I wasn't sure. So. Okay, who wants to start?
You want to give the overview or?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused on which one Natalie's talking about for sure, because it's there too.
Okay, so I think the version that you sent to her, let's see. So the existing ordinance that says revised, I think that's the one that we're talking about. And that she only wanted to add the restriction to the 15 miles per hour instead of 20. That was the only change.
That was the only suggestion she had, was we
Yeah.
change it to 15 miles per
So
hour.
I think that was the document that was. I think what the changes that we're suggesting, is just adding literally the word e-scooter, stating that it has to have a headlight or rear reflector and that those need to be used, was it before and after sunset? That it can't go faster than 15 miles per hour, and that's in line with Bellevue and Omaha. Increasing the fees for anyone who doesn't comply with the ordinance, and then not requiring helmets, but strongly recommending use of. Does that sound right, Eric?
Yes. The only streets that were limited were basically the business district around the square. And then streets at the Glenwood State Hospital School or Glenwood Resource Center grounds.
And that was intentional to give officers the discretion, right? So,
Yeah, well, the Resource Center grounds because they're closed.
right. But I know before we had talked about specific streets and
Correct.
But if a kid is riding their scooter and not doing anything wrong,
Right.
the officer might not
Correct.
do anything because they're not doing anything wrong, right? So if we were to say like absolutely not on Sharp Street, then that would mean that anybody who's riding it and doing nothing wrong would still be in the wrong. So I think the way that it's worded rewards good behavior and gives officers the discretion to do what they need to do if somebody's misbehaving. Any questions? Also, I know that Natalie had also reviewed some other city ordinances, including Bellevue and Omaha, and these all seemed pretty in line, so nothing wild and crazy, consistent with what other communities are doing. Alright.
We have a copy of the, we have a copy of the, I missed it. Because you're just making some changes from the original one.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So
So it's
ages,
just-
anything on ages, nothing changing on age, or is there anything written in ages on there?
No.
Okay. Make sure that we got everything covered. So when the public sees it. They understand. So Eric, what do you think?
I mean, it avails us the opportunity if they're misbehaving and not following traffic laws, we can enforce. And otherwise, I don't think we can get any less restrictive.
So they can be on sidewalks and streets,
Correct.
and in the ordinance, it tells you what the protocol is if you meet somebody on the sidewalk, correct? I'm trying to remember what I,
Use on sidewalk, a person using a skateboard, roller skate, or scooter, e-scooter on any sidewalk where such use is not prohibited, shall yield the right of way to any pedestrian and shall give an audible signal before overtaking and passing such pedestrian.
Have we experienced any big problems with this recently?
Not recently, no. The spring, we were getting some complaints because they were not obeying like stop signs, stoplights. They were just kind of whipping into traffic and not realizing what the consequences of that could be. Most of them that we spoke to were really receptive, and we haven't had recurring problems with them.
And other than limiting the speed though, this doesn't really address that, right? There's nothing in here that would keep that from happening.
Well, I mean,
And not all ordinances are meant to make things not happen, right? It's just to tell you what happens if you don't follow it, so it's.
so Eric, are you suggesting then on 77.08, the schedule violation, you talked about changing the amount?
77.08,
The
yes.
dollar amount, the
Yep.
fee, yes.
Would that get taken out of the ordinance and put in a resolution then, or does that stay in the? I remember you talked once with ordinances, we usually put fees and such, or is that different if it's a fine? To have it in the ordinance, or does it need to be pulled or put in a?
I would have to refer to guidelines on that.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know we had come up in the past.
My one version calls it a civil penalty, the other one is a fine, so again, I'd want to talk to Matt and see what the best way on that
That's
is.
good. And then how much were you guys thinking of raising? Getting thought?
1,500 and 200,
Yeah, so it's basically doubling, because it's currently 25, 50, and 100 for second and third. So it'd be 50, 100, and 200.
Okay.
When you guys do, I'll say pull over a minor, do you contact the parents or how would, if it's egregious?
we would definitely, If it's an egregious offense, for sure. If it's just
A warning.
a warning, we're gonna tell them to stop and give a direction, hey, yeah, stop signs, that type of thing, probably not. If it's a repeat offender, then yes, we would, or we'd attempt to.
Because it's ultimately the parent that's getting hit with the
Correct.
right? So,
Well, and quite frankly, before we'd ever issue a warning for something like that, we would probably take the skateboard and make the parent come talk to us, to get the skateboard back, so that way we know we've had a conversation with them.
I'll keep working on it. Any other questions from council? Anything you'd like to see done or changed? Do you want to just have them take it to Matt Woods then for some changes? And for Eric to work with him on the revision? Everybody okay?
I think it's at that point.
Okay, and we're gonna go on to Park and Recs, and I understand Ron was unable to make it, through just someone in the hospital.
Yeah, family, personal.
What-
Yep.
Okay.
So, one of the things that I've been doing is going around and seeing all the facilities that we have. And when I was at the Parks building, which is the one that's attached to the museum where they call their home office, they do not have proper bathroom facilities. And I think that that's been known for a while. And there's just there was a few red flags that went off fairly quickly for me. So, Mayor and I discussed it, and Parks wanted to use their old facility. There was a reason they moved out of there, is what it comes down to. So we've made the determination, until we can figure out what can really happen with Parks having proper bathroom facilities, as for their home base office, that they're going to use the city hall as their location. They still have access to the restrooms that are out in the field while they're mowing and all of that. But I think that we're all in agreement that everybody needs to have access to a true bathroom. And so that's our temporary solution until we can explore it more. The other thing that we have to explore, and I make no bones about it, I am not an HR expert, so I need to get some information. Originally, a couple years ago, the city purchased some eye wash stations for them. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear they can use them in the way that had initially been thought. So that is another hurdle that we have to work through, because they're using chemicals that really they should have access to something if there were to be an issue. So haven't solved that part just yet, but in the interim, we have to figure out how to give them access, because Teresa and I were talking about it. I'm not sure we have enough key cards for access, and they need to be able to get here on the weekends because they do routes at all times. So just some things to work through, but it's in process.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Jamie, you have a wash station down at your facility? Or with my chemicals? Is yours-
And my wash station,
Eye wash station? Is yours attached to the plumbing part of it, or do you use potable water?
no, it's attached to
It
our
is attached.
plumbing.
Okay. Okay. So I'm wondering if they were to use for that part of it, they're not running water in the old one because
No
they have a
water up
bathroom?
there.
What's that?
There's no water in these new.
No, but the old one, there's a toilet in there, I saw.
Yeah, there's water. They turn the water off in the winter time. They have to blow out the lines, is my understanding.
But they wouldn't be using chemicals in the winter time, correct?
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you're.
I was just wondering, since they keep the chemicals in the whole
Mhm.
building, if they could set up a wash station near that bathroom, if they.
But he should have heat in that old building, I think.
He's told me that the lines aren't very deep enough, so he has to blow them out so they don't freeze.
You'll have to figure something out. So. Are either you or Matt familiar with those eyewash stations, if there's an option for a portable?
Portable ones I ordered him they held up to so many gallons, and I also ordered him enough solution that water that goes into that, you put like a half a bottle in one of those tanks, and it's supposed to keep for 6 months. And I ordered, I think originally when I ordered like four bottles of that stuff.
4 bottles of the,
Solution that makes so the water doesn't get.
so it
stagnant.
sterilizes the water or whatever you need?
Yeah, it doesn't get, it's supposed to keep the water, basically. So you only change it like every 6 months, and then you just add half of this. Basically, it's like a water stabilizer stuff that you put in it that they sell with that kit.
So then could they get bottled water, like a 5 gallon, I don't know how much it holds? Is that something that they pour in with it then? They
And
have
that's
like
fill
a
the
tank?
thing with clean water, and then you just put that solution in there. And that's what they sell with it, to keep the water from getting stagnant.
Because that's why it's called a portable
Yeah.
life. Well, maybe he needs some
I
direction.
think, I don't know if I've seen his out there, but I think they're the same thing as what's in the chemical rooms out of the pool.
Yeah, they're just
Oh.
green,
You just hang on the wall and
Just
fill
hang
them
on
with
the wall.
water.
yep, and then you put that
Close
solution
it
in
in
there.
and there's one in the acid room.
Maybe you and Jamie could go explore. And then maybe do another road trip.
Yeah.
And see if we could make those workable. for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. One of them is still in its box, so we know that it's in good condition. I'm assuming it's still in good condition. The other one, we'll just have to check to see. And
Did he say you put it at the new place?
It's
the
a-
new
yeah.
Concession stand down at the
no,
rec field or something?
no, he said it was up at his new shop.
Oh, so it probably hasn't been taken out of the box yet either.
I didn't see it, but I also wasn't looking for it.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you whether or not it was out of box.
I know those eyewash stations are like OSHA approved.
They are OSHA approved.
Yeah.
So the solution was that, would they have come with those in a separate box or would they have been
They would
inside?
have been probably, they would have came at the same time as those two came
Yeah.
in the box. It's on the receipt, if you look at the like 4 to 6 bottles of the solution.
Hmm.
And it's good for, I think it's 6 months at a time, so you just drain it, refill it. And then you just empty half the bottle into the actual water solution, because I think it goes into, I think those hold like 8 gallons or 9 gallons, and half of one of those, it's good, the whole bottle is good for like 20 gallons. And then you only have to drain it and then put fresh water in every 6 months. That's why I ordered extra solution, so we go for so many years.
Okay. Thank you. So maybe that will fix itself if there's some guidance on
Yeah, that part.
training.
Mm-hmm.
And does the park office relocation, is that essentially just opening up the restrooms? So that, or does it involve anything else? Like, are they bringing things over here? Are they?
No, they're bringing themselves over here so that they have
And their
access to the restrooms and their laptops. So that, yeah, if they were to do office work or anything like that, this is where they would do that.
Okay.
But no, they're still going to go get their lawnmowers from whatever facility they're at. They're going to go to their parks. They're going to do that part. And then while they're in the field, they can have access to those restrooms. And that still is enough, in my understanding of how the OSHA rules work, which is pretty minimal, but from the reading that I've done, that I think we really just have to figure out the true bathroom for what they're calling their home office. That is the part that initially, and I don't know the answer to this. So take that for what it is. We had initially thought that we could purchase or utilize portable restrooms and meet that requirement. I'm not sure that that works for their actual office. And that's where I just want to make, there's no point in buying one if it's not going to check the correct box. So we'll keep doing that research, but in the interim, they can come here, they can utilize this space, and
And that front desk is vacant anyway,
Yeah.
so it would be perfect. Yeah.
Have we ever gotten an estimate on how much it would be to run water there? And
I've asked for him to get some numbers, but I don't think I've seen anything from him yet.
I want to say I heard somewhere between 40 and 50,000. Not just to run that, but to do everything.
Mhm.
I might have heard of the park board doing that.
Yeah,
Really, this is quite a bit.
because we also suggested maybe talking to, like, museum has a bathroom in their facility that how, what it would cost to run and connect to them.
Right.
And then go that direction, but I don't think anything's been done on that
I
either.
think they thought, like, isn't the museum on septic?
They are, but they could still go,
And I thought they said anything new couldn't go
So
on
with the
septic.
water department, if you're within so many feet of the sewer main,
That's what it was,
you
yeah.
have to tie into the sewer main.
They're too close to the sewer main that they have to cut into it. That's why they couldn't use the museums.
Otherwise, he could have put it in his own septic.
I thought that was cost prohibitive, his own septic is why.
It'd be, I don't know, probably 15,000, put in the septic.
Okay.
Yeah, but when Jamie said that, I
Could
remember
we-
that came up.
And is
It's
that
GMU.
just their rule, or is there a reason why they say that?
The 200-foot rule within a sewer line is a state rule.
It's a state rule. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was just maybe one of theirs that they.
Yeah, I think that's in the state code. If
Okay.
you're within 200 feet of an existing sanitary main, you have to connect.
Was this ever in any of their requests when we had like ARPA money and all of that, those other dollars?
I couldn't say. We had so many
I don't remember.
moving parts for so long, I couldn't say. I know they talked about wanting a new building because of no bathroom and such.
Right.
And that's possibly something we need to look forward to down the road. The next deal bond is maybe doing something like that, but
Just that we had that money and we were trying so hard to figure out how to spend it. And this would have been a perfect match.
no, I don't think I'm not sure.
So last meeting, we spoke about the police and fire potentially needing a new facility and some of the things that could come with that. We're talking about an impound station. I think something that just to put in your ear is something to consider. It might not be a bad idea to invest in figuring out what we have in our inventory and what needs done. Having some sort of study done so that we can have a list of all the things that are necessary. It would help for future planning, the improvements that need to all the buildings so that you actually know what some of those costs are. We can piece it together long-term and we can limp it along, but it would be helpful if we just really truly knew what our needs were for each facility.
How would we, what would be the steps to get that moving? Or would it be one of us doing some research or working with you to get some information on like how much that would cost, what all we'd entail, like?
Yeah, I mean, it's a professional services. So HGM did something similar for the fire station already. You could go back to them and say, hey, we want to do something that's a larger look. You could open it up for requesting proposals from agencies. You could do it a couple different ways. It's professional services. So I think that you're finding somebody that can help you get through that process. And really it would be approving how much, just understanding how much it would cost. And I'm not sure I have a good handle on something of a cost that would be associated with that.
And it will cost you to have them do it, so you
Yeah.
have to make sure you've got the money to.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get some proposals, but.
What funds would pay for that type of a study?
We have money in we could do it under like maintenance. I think that's you're understanding the maintenance costs of your building. That would be somewhere that I think we do have professional services listed, contractual services. It's going to be a budget amendment regardless, because it's not something we have planned on. So it's probably more of how much does it cost, and is it something that we feel like we can.
If we have the money to do it.
Mhm.
Come out of the reserve.
Mhm.
But something to consider because, as soon as summer's over, you're gonna be getting ready to start looking at budget stuff. And we have to do something. Planning ahead on that too.
Do you think in the meantime, it would be helpful to ask all of the department heads what they need? Like, what's your wish list? Like,
Mhm.
what's your wish and what do you need? right? So that we can just kind of internally piece together what that could look like, because I'm sure that whatever company we would go with would want some
Mhm.
guidance on that, so maybe we could just start doing a little bit of like recon now to see, and then,
Mhm.
like, I'd be happy to work with you on just figuring out some of the logistics.
Oh, yeah, you got Fridays off now. She's available on Friday for the summer.
Yeah, we can start there, and I think the part that will be probably a little harder is, when you're talking about like I need more space, that's probably easier to quantify. If you're talking about I don't know when the useful life of this roof is,
Yeah.
that would be perhaps harder for us to put on paper. But I mean, I know we need a new fire station roof. I know we have other needs. Bathrooms at facilities, but there's some of it that we may just have to guess or just say we want this identified, and a facility study would go through and just look at everything.
So they would do basically a capital needs assessment of what we have and build out that
Mm-hmm.
15, 30-year lifespan or whatever it is and let us know.
Yeah, I think you can probably structure a few ways, and anybody feel like you can jump in if you need to or want to. We could say that we're anticipating our city to grow by X%. So we're going to have to add probably this many staff. So do we have enough space for that? Do we have enough space for, right now, one of the things that's easy for me to point to is the fire equipment. We have to measure before we buy it to make sure that it fits through the doors.
Right.
Is that really long-term sustainable? Because we're not going to be able to perhaps continue to buy equipment based on our garage sizes. So those type of things probably are pretty, that's what would be included in there. If we need additional public works facilities or we're strapped for space, we can't keep all of our equipment indoors.
How old is your public works building now? Not sure. It's pretty old.
DOT used to be in there.
Yeah, it's an old streets building.
Whenever they moved down to PJ.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Mhm.
Yeah, the old city street department used to be where that basketball court is at the city ball field.
Okay,
Mhm.
so it's been around for a long time.
Like Courtney was just saying, equipment's getting bigger, we have to
Mm-hmm.
revamp or
Mhm.
measure before we buy anything, make sure it fits.
Yeah, ideally it'd be nice to have fire, public works, police all in one building.
Mhm.
We have quite a bit of equipment, it's the south side.
Okay, anything else? Okay, then we've got about 20 minutes, less than 20. So, at the moment, we can pause. We're back at 7. Okay. Want to turn the volume down on?
It is.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, when it came on, I had to. Well, welcome everyone. Let's start with roll call, please.
Kate's, Reinert,
Here.
Duran,
Here?
McEwen,
Here.
Lyons.
Here.
Okay, motion for approval of the consent agenda as printed.
So move lines.
Second,
Reiner.
any discussion? Roll call, please.
Reinert,
Yes.
McEwen,
Yes.
Lyons,
Yes.
Duran.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This is where we allow visitors to come forward.
Mm-hmm. There we
You're
go.
limited to 3 minutes. Please state your name.
Lisa Markison.
Okay.
I live on Vine Street. I'm on this, I don't think you know if I say something. It's not. When I came 2 weeks ago, when we were discussing the young policeman, your colleague was the only one who thought you should do it right away and not take 3 more weeks. And I agree with him. I often find that there are things in front of me, Mills County or the courthouse, I don't always feel like I understand the why things were done. So possibly my reaction is I'm missing, integral, information which would make it clear what happened. But I thought, since it's been a long time since he's left, it's a long time, I just thought that was, if it was me, I'd have had to cough it out, so I don't know. But I agree with him, so.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we'll start with committee reports. We didn't have any admin tonight, so we're going to use Louise. Who wants to talk about that?
I can give an overview. So we are looking at updating the ordinance for scooters. And just a summary of those changes would be adding e-scooter to the description. Also adding that any scooter or e-scooter would have to have a headlight and rear reflectors, and those would need to be used before sunset and when the sun comes up. That they could not go faster than 15 miles an hour, increasing the fees, and then not requiring but strongly recommending use of helmets. And then I'll defer to Natalie and Eric if you guys want to add any more details.
I think the only other thing that I added was that they were, I don't know what the word was, but basically they cannot be on a road that has a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, which is not very many in Glenwood. I mean, like side streets are 25. I think it's basically just Locust that's 35 in Glenwood.
And that's only at certain points.
Yeah, right, yeah, that's just in the busier parts.
Yeah.
35. All right, Locust. Eric, did we miss anything? I think that was pretty much it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was just of it, and then the next, 15 minutes per hour.
And we left the business district as a no sidewalk, and we talked about getting some signs to post that so that it was, and maybe we need to add a couple on Locust and those, south and north of Locust.
Yep, and then the resource center
Yeah.
would be a no-go.
Did we put that one in there?
The resource center was.
Is it in there? Yeah.
So we talked about next steps would be Eric reaching out to Matt Woods to start talking about making the
I
next.
didn't have an official draft.
Thank you.
Oh,
City
and
account?
and then impound lot, just looking around,
Possibilities.
possibly identifying a lot that could be used for impounding so that we're not storing cars in various places. So just starting the early stages of figuring that out.
Who's speaking on public safety?
I can do that if you want me to.
Thank you.
Matt talked about the mutual aid agreement with Offutt Air Force Base. and the benefits to both them and us. And that including Offutt is going to be building a brand new training center that Glenwood Fire Department would be able to use. He also talked about a mutual aid agreement with Malvern, or that Malvern has done with Red Oak without our chief of fire knowing about it, and kind of committing us to stuff I'm not sure that we should be doing. So he's going to talk to, talk to somebody about looking into that. And he submitted 3 bids for bathroom remodels at the fire department.
Park and Recs, Courtney? Wait, not you, sorry. Let's talk Park and Recs. Okay.
Talked about the parks office not having bathroom facilities, so till something else can be worked out, the parks personnel will be working out of the city hall here as far as office work. And they're going to be looking at their eye wash stations to make sure they know how to properly use them.
Thank you. All right, Dixie, if you'd like to come up, we're gonna move on to music on the square. Let her explain what's going on. Welcome.
Hey, I will read a little bit just so I stay on track. But as you know, I started about October of 24, kind of on the heels of the end of RAGBRAI, July of 24. And with that, I think, RAGBRAI had given some funds, which some of that was used to buy new speakers for the town square here in Glenwood. And I, obviously wasn't there to see all that go through. But as I'm going through things and as the board is going through things for the chamber, we are trying to align our mission with the things, the duties that we are currently taking part of. One of which is managing the speakers on the square. So what I'm here to do tonight is see about transferring ownership. Again, I don't really know if this is written somewhere. I do have a copy of the proposal from Nebraska Furniture Mart, which is addressed to the city of Glenwood, which has some of these details in there. I emailed that to you. But transferring ownership and management of the speaker system to the city of Glenwood. So since the fall of 24, the chamber has been paying for the music platform, managing the playlist, and serving as the contact when changes need to be made. And the equipment is actually back in this room over here. So, for example, the farmer's market will call or text me and say, hey, we're gonna have live music on Wednesday, can you turn down the speaker? So I'll go in there and physically turn it down currently. So, and that can be a day notice, it can be 30 minutes before it happens, depending on when she contacts me. So, and I know that your hours are till 4 p.m. So it's just gonna be an awareness for them to know that they have to contact us in a certain amount of time. So that's my ask is right now the managing responsibilities of those speakers on the square to the city of Glenwood.
And what's the cost that you guys pay?
Okay, so there is something called Sound Machine, which is like the playlist management system. It's a subscription, $29.95 per month that we've been paying for since the fall of 24. And that's really where anybody would go in and create the playlist. So I'm not a playlist maker, but I just went in and did like 90s, country, like mixing it all up, right? And so that charges automatically every month. And that's all we've been paying for. Now, if there's anything to happen, Nebraska Furniture Mart is the one that would be contacted.
And just to give a little history, we used to have music on the square years ago that was purchased from RAGBRAI proceeds many years ago. And then it quit working and we didn't have it for years and years and years. So the money, some of the money that we made on RAGBRAI this past year, the RAGBRAI committee put that money to the purchase of the new music on the square with the Nebraska Furniture Mart was who they selected. So it was not paid for by the city, it was paid for by proceeds from the RAGBRAI. The reason she's asking to go into the city is because it's actually physically here, yet the music plays through the clock tower that's on the courthouse lawn, that's the county. And I know years ago they talked, trying to get county to take it, and they weren't interested in it, but then they don't have access to the actual equipment. So they are asking if we want to take over the ownership of that, which would mean we'd have to budget for the playlist. It's a small amount per month.
Actually, your speakers are on the lights.
Are they on the lights?
Yeah.
They're no longer in the,
No,
It was
they're no
like
longer
10.
on.
That's right.
They're on
The
the
old one
light
was,
poles.
that's right, thank you. So they're on the lights. Okay.
I don't know if it matters, but other than the light poles inside the square or outside the square?
Inside,
Inside
isn't
the square.
Is there any maintenance agreements with Nebraska Furniture Mart? Is there any like warranties or anything like that? It was just a one-time purchase?
All I have is the proposal. I've looked everywhere. I've contacted Nebraska Furniture Mart for a signed contract because the amount on the proposal is actually what RagBri paid to Nebraska Furniture Mart, which was 13,000 some odd, and some odd change, 13,148.26. But I don't have anything. I think it's just like a call on them as needed basis. That's all I have. That's all I could find. So I think it's one of those things that was like, get the speakers on the square. They installed them. They told us that, you know, per this proposal that streaming music player will be fully networked, city to control music volume and audio content via website login. And that streaming music player does require a monthly commercial streaming subscription. So initially, the equipment was going to reside in the bank, I think Glenwood Bank. From like Spiral.
If you'd like to make a motion, let the transfer happen, and then we would take over. That's up to council. Do you have any questions?
I guess I'd like to hear from people in the office that.
Yeah, it's gonna become their
Doing-
responsibility.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not it's no problem, really. It's basically someone at the farmer's market would let us know. I already spoke to someone last week just saying, hey, just let us know before 3:45 if you need us to turn the music down.
That's if they have bands.
Yeah, other than that, I don't think there's been any other.
That's any, it's homecoming, it's any of those events that we have, you know. things going on.
Mhm.
When I first started, I did have them quote a microphone system. So I have a quote for that.
Okay.
That would attach to the speakers if you ever needed it. Like for homecoming, it's about $6,000. So that has the capability to do that. I just couldn't afford it, so I didn't do it.
What does the parade marshal use? He has a different speaker system.
It's like the option, yeah.
Oh,
or they
yeah,
can, like,
it's a
mobile
different
speaker on
speaker
a
system.
trailer.
That's probably a lot cheaper.
It's free, yeah.
Yeah.
6,000.
Mr. Stanley on the
It's nice to
corner.
have it available. That
It is, yeah, especially for, you know, even like for the holiday festival, you're addressing the crowd,
Mhm.
for example.
Yeah, that would be cool.
and are we only able to use that streaming?
That's the only one they proposed, that's the only one they showed me that ties in with the equipment that they have back there. Sound machine.
You guys are good with that?
I
Courtney
think so.
and Teresa? You're okay?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
I'll make a motion the city takes over responsibility for the speaker system.
Is there a second?
Mine,
Any further discussion? I will make one note. I remember going to the county at one time. We had to make some repairs, and they did give us some money to help pay for the initial expenses. So in the future, they might be open to helping us if we have any expenses come up.
So this equipment's roughly 2 years old right now.
Right, because they caught it right when I started. This back here, so.
Does the proposal give you any like useful life or what are we doing there?
I will get you a digital copy of this. I will forward this to everybody. I have it to me right now, but
I can send it.
it has a description of the JDL speakers. And I imagine in here that it might say something. There's all the specs in here. I don't know about life because of all the things that could happen probably with weather and things like that. So I'm not sure.
Did you say that you did call them and try to?
I have an email out to one of the reps, and he took over for Brian Dyer had installed, but he's now since moved to a different company. So they're looking for the signed contract. And I don't know if
So
that,
you'll get it to us when you get it.
yeah, absolutely.
Roll call, please.
Lines,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes.
McEwen,
Yes.
Reinhardt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, departmental reports. Autumn, you're up first.
Is GMU not coming? Is
Sorry.
GMU not
You're
here?
skipping GMU?
Are they not?
Oh, I missed it.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry, Autumn. I moved right down because I was writing in that little space. I ran out of space.
It's okay. I was like, they-
Okay, GMU, I received a request from Wendy. They decided to replace their awning. And with that, then they discussed painting just their front portion of the building. And they're looking at a two-tone gray. And you'll see two estimates in the,
Are we responsible for that?
well, they're asking if we would split it with them. She's saying within, email here. I'm not real sure without, I'm trying to find the GMU agreement folder and I haven't been able to find it. I know we're responsible for some maintenance and such, like if they have plumbing issues. I don't know about that. And if we are, then I would say we probably would want to wait and do it when we could do our building too and do all in the same building.
Does it need to be painted, or they just want to paint it because they
Well,
want it to look nice?
it doesn't look, I mean, it needs a little bit, look at it when you go out.
Like power washing?
We tried to power wash, Jamie,
Yeah, we scrubbed it, power washed it.
apparently they were telling me that the bleach had to use a lot of bleach and,
Yeah, he was really a little worried about having to put that much chemical just from a worker perspective, how much they would have to use to scour it. There's also, it's not actually stucco, it's some sort of weird
It's like a spray on
foam.
styrofoam.
oh my God.
So there's some repair that needs to happen, also that is perhaps right on that is included in this as well, I believe. But yeah, the cleaning didn't work as well as we had hoped.
so the email is, we would appreciate if the council would approve us painting the front of GMU office building prior to installing the new awning. This isn't in GMU's budget because maintenance and repairs to this building reside under the city. We understand that it isn't in the city's current budget either. However, with the need to replace the awning because it looks so awful, and the awning does look awful, and the paint is missing since trying to clean the exterior of the building, we'd like to repair and paint it. We would like to recommend sharing the cost if council is open to that. And if you could let me know what they decide, I'd really appreciate it. So, because they're having a meeting tomorrow morning. So there's two bids from Cutting Edge Painting for $13.70 and then Al's Painting for $25.50.
This is just the frontage. It's not the
It's
side
not
where
all.
it would fit, like where it would show the city hall side. It's just literally what faces the square.
I kind of like, because I was saying when Angie mentioned, it'd be nice if we could wait till when we could do both their front, our front, and then that side ones, because right now it's all matching.
They can go ahead and put up their new awning and we can take it down again later to paint, right? I mean,
I don't know how much what would entail to take it down to paint or if they would have to take it down to paint.
Cover it, yeah.
it's a really small front for $1,300, almost $1,400 for, I mean, there's four
That
windows
is-
and a door. It's like hardly any
That
surface.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah,
Mostly labor, I think.
it is $1,000 labor, $370 for supplies. I have a question, is that something we can do? Paint? Do we know who painted it before?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I don't know how old this Google image is, but it looks like our awning is the same as theirs. Is ours in bad shape?
No, but I don't know if there's that, it's not great, but
He was able to power wash ours and it looks really nice now. So theirs has a tree right over it that's
I think
leaked
that's
some
more
nasty
exposure.
stuff that maybe has stained it, and where ours has not been stained by that.
Seems like a very last minute,
It is.
like they had to have ordered their awning quite a while ago in order to get it here, right?
I don't even know if they've ordered it, so I think they're talking about that tomorrow too. And it's up to you, I mean, if you want them to tell them, we'll do it, but we like to wait till we do ours in all one color.
Well, I mean, with assessing our buildings and everything, trying to get things in to see what needs to be priority and where we're spending our funds, I would like to see us have the time to do some of that too before.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a non-budgeted, we didn't have a lot of excess money in our budget, so I would say
Wait.
probably should wait.
Yeah.
Till we can plan for it.
And it would be good to know when you find the file, like if we're obligated to do it versus just.
Do they rent from us? Is that?
They don't rent from us, they don't pay us rent, but then we don't pay them water. There's an agreement, but I had it pulled out, I don't know where it is. I'm looking for it. Got misfiled somewhere, but we'll find it.
No, we didn't.
Okay, so then at this time, we'll just tell them we'd like to wait, that we consider doing it. We have it budgeted and then we can do it all together.
Mhm.
Okay. And we'll pass that along. And they do have a meeting tomorrow morning. Were you planning on going, Courtney?
I can.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I'll try to be there.
And I guess when they say share the cost, are they talking 50/50? Is that the share?
I would say 50/50.
So it's $650.
If they want to wait. They may just want to do, if they want to do it on their own, they'll just go ahead and do it and have to do it.
Can we request that they don't? Because if whatever they're gonna paint, then we're kind of tied to that, right?
Well, not necessarily, because I'm just thinking in a way, since they're a separate entity,
They're
If
they're
they're a
facing this way
separate
versus
color,
facing
yeah.
this way.
maybe that would help
Yeah,
set them apart.
up to you guys. Just tell me what you want us to do.
Yeah, I think we find out what we're obligated to do and then tell them that we prefer to wait and do it as a whole project if we're gonna be sharing the cost.
And it could be then it would be our responsibility, and then when we do, we'll call it 3-1. Okay, all right. Thank you. Autumn, you're back up. Come join us.
Oh, thanks.
Just real quick to follow up, so that's the reason the library doesn't pay a water bill is because GMU doesn't pay rent for the building? Is that
Mhm.
what the agreement is? Okay, cool. I was kind of wondered, but didn't want to ask.
Or maybe
If I'm
they
not
don't
gonna go
know.
for it, I'm not gonna.
Like, don't draw attention to it.
Right, Anyway. June stats for the library, we had 2,364 material checkouts in the building. Our door count was 2,165. We had 100 attendees at story time. Summer, we see much higher numbers than during the school year. We had 8 at History Book Club and 2 passive, which just means people checked out the book and didn't come in person, which is fine, that happens. $44,510.64 saved by patrons, which again is just materials that we have purchased. I recently figured out a little bit of how to get the information from Libby and Hoopla, but like the math is not great. But for what it's worth, we do pay, I will pay my Libby bill this month. That money is tied to our census data. Price is set per person in the city limits, which is a nice cost savings for us because if I had to pay for the county, many more people. And it's just under 50 cents per resident. So screaming low. We will open at noon on Monday, the 20th for inventory. We are moving downstairs to children's finally. Shelf indulgence at Perea had author Chris Poor here last week. We had 16 people come. Moving to the second Thursday has really helped our numbers. He's got a brother and sister-in-law who live in rural Mills County, who's his niece and nephew went to Glenwood High School, so that was like fun for him. He lives in Valley, so like we're getting authors from all over the metro. James McGowan will be our August author. He'll be there on August 13th. He writes an urban science fantasy, so if that's your
genre, come on over. The Chamber Partnership Silent Book Club was at Backroom Lounge at Lake Ohana last night. We had 8 people there. Lower numbers, it's not close to town. It's my neck of the woods, but it's not everybody's neck
And
of
it's
the woods.
summer and it's fair.
Yeah, yes, it was fair week. Everyone was in Melbourne. But we are back on the square at A Bean Above on August 10th. That is second Monday of the month. Our head count for summer reading so far is up to 167 kids, K to 5, 48 teens, which is grade 6 and up, and 107 adults. Highlights of what we did in June. We had 2 local author story times, Milkweed Matters, and Wildlife Encounters. Angie, Helen Joey, Cody, Helen Joey.
It was the best day ever.
Now my profile. Yes.
Yeah, the pictures were adorable.
Thank you for letting us
Mm-hmm.
know.
Absolutely. I literally had Valerie text me from the Y, like, let us know what they brought. The kids made pine cone bird feeders and tin can planters. We have take and make crafts for both kids and adults. Emily, our adult services librarian, has joined the YMCA Walking Club. They meet weekly. Emily goes monthly, and she does like poetry readings as they walk. We had a great turnout for the Betterment's 250th events that we participated in. We had 50 patrons do the Build a Bouquet. Howlin' Holler Farms sponsored that. Free flowers, like 4, I think, of the 5-gallon buckets, just chock full of flowers. And she was out of flowers, I think, in an hour and a half. They had 9 kids sign up to have tables at the entrepreneur market, and over 80 people shopped the event. Jen, Wilson, and I are already talking about what that looks like next. Maybe it's a Christmas market, possibly, probably it'll be a Christmas market, but then what it'll look like to be next summer as well. Upcoming events, we have 3 more children's authors coming for story time. Carlos Middlebrooks will be here Thursday the 16th. Chelsea Balfour is from Glenwood. She'll be in on Tuesday, August 4th, and then Sharon Harmon will be Tuesday, August 11th. We have the Omaha Symphony coming to Storytime on July 21st. Magician Jeff Quinn is in from Elkhorn on Thursday, July 23rd. That one's at the YMCA. We've got adult programming, including grown-up show and tell, which, you know, like literally every time my kids went show and tell, it's like the cool stuff I can show up. You can bring it to the library on Thursday, the 24th at 5 o'clock. Show up. We literally have a guy who comes in and like looks at his stamp collection periodically, and I just keep waiting for him to come to grown-up show and tell. So it's like, this is for you. Show off what you got. And then we are making mocktails with paired book selections on Monday, the 27th at 6 p.m. because we don't close until 7 on Mondays. And we will have a table at Cultivate Community on the 5th. We'll do a craft swap table for both kids and adults, and then that rolls into programming at the library the next few days after that. And our one BYO of the summer is tie-dye days, where you have to bring your own item to be tie-dyed, and it has to fit in a gallon Ziploc bag, but we have the rubber bands and we do the dyeing and all that. They are at the park tomorrow for that, and then they are back on site on Wednesday, no, tomorrow's Wednesday 15th, or on site Friday the 24th. And with our partnership with the YMCA, the Y Kids will go over before we open to the community, and we'll knock out, I don't know, there's probably 40 of them that we'll do before we open to the public. And because we were talking about it, and I just found this last week, if you wanted to put an elevator in the library, it's $500,000. I literally found the bid in a folder. It's from 2 years ago. It was like $420,000.
Really?
Yeah. It
Thank
was. Every once in a while, people ask me, I'm like, I'm sure it's expensive. We'll put it on the, and we're not putting it on the list. $500,000.
Still get escalated cheaper.
Just start building the other building.
I'm gonna stick down big a chair on the steps.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
it's, yeah. I picked up my jaw off the floor.
The elevator at the library.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you, Autumn.
Thank you so
Do you
much.
think that any of the kids that were the young entrepreneurs would be interested in like a business class? Like someone sitting down and teaching them kind of the mechanics of what a budget looks like, just super.
I wasn't there because I had a board meeting that night. I know that the age range was pretty broad.
Okay.
So I would say maybe, because I know some of the kids were fairly young, and some of them were like partners, like Maverick, Jackson, and his little love friend, I can picture him, I can't come up with a name, paired together and did a booth, like the two of them. And then there was one that was like an older sibling and like a younger sibling. So it was 9 tables, but it wasn't 9 people.
Okay.
So I think some of the older kids would maybe be interested, but like the younger siblings that were along for the free labor, probably.
Right, right.
I think yes.
Got it. Okay.
Thanks. Mike's not here, Tom's not here. Jamie?
I really don't have much. I was just gonna let you guys know that as of right now, for the storm cleanup hours, we have 280 hours total into this, 80 hours of overtime now. And we're probably gonna have a little more in it, 'cause I think we're just gonna hold this pile off that we have now
Okay.
ourselves.
Thank you. Eric?
So the 2 things I have tonight. I wrote a letter commending Officer Zach. He responded to a medical emergency in the early AM hours of July 7th to a mother in active labor and assisted medics with delivering a so. So, that being
Did
said.
they name him after
He
him?
definitely did. I have not heard.
You said July 7th?
July 7th.
On my birthday then.
That's why.
Hope they named Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was born, but
Yeah.
on the way to hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
And then the next thing on my list, as far as what we have, is the grant we got for the virtual reality training equipment is a reimbursement grant. So I'm requesting to go ahead and purchase this equipment so we can submit for a reimbursement. I assume the invoice made it to the packet.
Mhm. It's 50,000 even?
Yeah.
I'll ask for a motion.
So moved, McEwen. Do we, sorry.
Second,
Duran?
any discussion?
I always forget that part, like.
That's all right.
It's fine to discuss. Do we have it, I guess we should ask first, do we have it in the budget to at least spend it and then get reimbursed?
Yeah, we can do that. We'll be able to float it so we can get that reimbursement. We have to. It's part of the grant itself. So yes, it'll be okay.
What type of turnaround does the grant reimbursement take? Okay, yeah.
Officer
I
Camp,
was
or
told
Sergeant?
by Dennis that at the state, it would be within like roughly 30 days.
Oh, that's good. This is an amazing grant you got, by the way.
Yeah.
I just have to give them a copy of the purchase order and a picture of the equipment when it comes in, and then they'll send over whatever they do with their money.
And when we purchase it, do we have to send a check with it then, or do we get a 30-day to pay for it? Do we know? Because it could float the same month if that works.
Most of the ones we do are at 30.
Yeah, so we might be able to do it all in the same month, which would be awesome. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Okay. So, great. Roll call, please.
Lines,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes.
Reiner,
Yes.
McEwen.
Yes.
On the quote, anyway, it says, please allow 60 to 90 days for delivery of hardware to delivery site. And then it says payment due upon receipt of system. So,
60 to 90 days. When we
could,
receive it.
up to 90 days according to this.
we don't have to pay for it till we receive it.
We've had 4 additional golf cart licenses since we put our little flyer out on the Miami Grove City too. And, we've had 8 arrests, 375 calls for service since last Monday. So,
I have a question with the signs for the e-scooters and the skateboards and stuff. Is that you or Jamie that would order the signs to put like on the square and on Locust? Is that you? Are those super expensive? Like to get those signs? I'm guessing they're probably,
How big do you want?
I don't know,
Usually-
whatever you would recommend to put on the square and on.
And how many would you?
Just one parking time, 12 by 18.
something on that one.
And-
Together. Figure out how many you want.
I just wasn't sure how expensive they were, but if it comes out of your budget, you have budget money for some additional signs. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do we want to put them on Locust Street? You know, it clearly states on the street, 35 mile per hour or more.
I don't know, do you recommend putting them on there?
I personally say no, but.
Okay.
I think
Well,
it
because
would-
that's where,
I think it'll
where does
take
it
some
get to
education.
35? It's
First
35,
Interstate Bank south, and then
The church, right?
basically Methodist, or not Methodist, Lutheran Church going north.
And they can cross over Locust, they just can't ride on Locust from
Right.
like the church to the bank. Or beyond the church and beyond the bank. I don't know if any of the other council members have an opinion about the signage. I know for sure downtown is probably the most important for the businesses to keep the kids off the sidewalk. But I don't have a preference on Locust.
See, on Locust, if there's sidewalks available, I don't think that's as big an issue as.
And then they go on the
moving them
street.
yeah. I was just thinking, if you're going from one side to the other, like, kind of, unless they're gonna go up and around and.
That's the point, people, I think, I mean, like to keep them off of the 35 miles per hour part of the road, right?
Yeah.
That gets a little bit more dangerous. I think the majority of the time when you see them, they're right in this area, like coming down from the school or a couple blocks from that side, yeah, so.
Because actually, personally, I'd rather not, they're not on Locust, even the 25 miles.
Maybe Matt will have some recommendations from a legal perspective for the city, I don't know. If we have to post signs, I don't know.
I will ask, I'll add that to my.
The list is getting longer. Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Alright, first thing I have on the agenda is a motion to approve a quote from Q-Tech for, basically it's for our UTV that the association donated for EMS. I got a grant from Schilberg for $5,000. Funds for the actual skid would be $4,400. So for a motion to purchase that.
Motion,
Make a motion, Reiner.
second,
Lines?
any discussion? Roll call?
Reiner,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes,
Lines,
Yes.
McEwen.
Yes,
And I'll ask for that motion on the fire station bathroom remodel with. All right, the low bid.
Construction.
Thank you.
Like I'll do in the electric case for the cheapest bid.
A motion
so moved Duran?
and a second.
McEwen,
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Duran,
Yes,
McEwen,
yes,
Reinert,
Yes.
Lyons.
Yes.
And then just, for you guys, the fire association raised money over the last couple of years, and they purchased, a brand new UTV for the fire department to use as a frontline EMS, UTV to help with search and rescue, also for sporting events, large events, and that's where that skid unit will come into play. It'll be basically, we'll have a med bag on it, it'll be set up to basically render first aid and any other type of aid that would be needed for citizens within inside city limits. And we have to go out and do any type of search that way we have, basically equivalent to be able to transport people. So they did, I believe like $29,000 that they were able to raise when we purchased that UTV there. And also, the fire department is also available for the document safety fund, and they're going to $5,000 to get for some equipment that we purchased for that as well. And today I was notified we will also be getting a grant from Orion Energy. They're the ones that are going to be building the solar farm stuff. So I've submitted them some equipment and they're going to pay for that. So as soon as that comes in, I'll let you know more. But I just submitted that stuff to them today. And calls for services, we have, since last council meeting, I handed out the sheets. I believe we were at 86. We're at 802 for the year. 65% of our calls are inside city limits so far, 35% are outside city limits. We've also done, you also see some training and stuff being done on some of the houses at GRC. Our guys are scheduling training, and going up there and doing roof ventilations, search and rescue, and some other stuff up at GRC, and some of the houses are going to tear down. And it's been a kind of a wild couple of weeks, and ISO will be here tomorrow to do our inspection for ISO, and they'll be going around to other area departments as well. We'll be meeting with myself, the water department, and communications center. That's what they do. They give you your number for you guys who are unfamiliar with ISO. Every fire department in the nation is designated a number 1 to 10. 1 being basically the best fire protection you provide, 10 being the lousiest. We're right now at 4 for city and 4 for rural, which is actually very good. I'm hoping I can get us with some equipment and the training stuff that we've done, we get down to 2 or 3. So we'll see tomorrow once he comes out, pull all of our stuff and the reports and stuff. Also, EMS Essential, there'll be some town hall meetings that will be coming through. We'll be in Malvern on July 23rd from 6:30 to 7:30 at the Malvern Library. And these may be changed if they can't get the sites. August 6th, we'll be at Silver City at the Legion, same times. Emerson, they're getting the community center over there on August 20th. September 3rd, we'll be in Glenwood. I'm not for sure where. George is the one calling and reserving facilities, and then we'll be back in Glenwood on October 29th. These are basically going to be town hall where we'll go through and explain the need for essential services for EMS. So if you want to attend those for free. Also, August 13th will be an actual EMS essential meeting with the board that's chosen. That'll be at 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock at the, they call it EOC or the annex, Mills County Annex building down at, next to the jail. The only other thing that I have on the agenda is motion to approve a quote from Sharp Blades for $775.75 to clean up 907 6th Street. I went over and I was going to attempt to clean it up, and they got a bunch of furniture, trash, and things alongside the house behind the fence, and Sharp Blades, I had them give me a quote to clean it up. There's a lot of trash and garbage that's been compiled back there, creating a nuisance with rodents and everything else. And then other folks being busy, I'd like to get this thing cleaned up the best I can and as quickly as I can. She removed the car out of the driveway and was going, I gave her extra time, but she's not doing it. So I just want to get it done, get it over with.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for a motion.
So moved, line.
And a second.
McEwen.
Okay, now any comments? And one thing I will say, you will be billing the property owner.
Yeah, the building
Offset
property,
that
and
along with the other fees associated to
Yeah.
that.
then we'll be putting it up on there for taxes most likely.
If she doesn't, do they get 30 days? I forget what our, so within 30 days, then we'll put a lien on their property.
So Sharp Blades would do everything, including the lawn, or they're just getting rid of
We're
the
gonna
junk?
clean
and-
everything up around the property. And there's a lot of trash there. I didn't realize till I went and moved the fence. And there's a privacy fence there, and there is just piles.
Like in the back of the house?
On the side of the house, and then in the back of the house, they've got mattresses, chairs, couch, and more trash.
Will you need an officer there to go?
Now, nobody's living there. It's supposedly going through bankruptcy, but she's having a person come over and mow the yard, but just not get rid of the trash.
Interesting.
And you sent her abatement notice and
Yeah,
she's,
she's had her abatement notices, and
Saying no.
she's given me emails stating that she was gonna clean it up and ask for more time, and we're beyond that now.
I'll ask for a roll call.
McEwen,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes.
Lines,
Yes.
Reinhardt.
Yes.
Courtney, you're next.
I don't have anything. Oh, I lied. Just as a heads up, we are working through some of the 457B stuff that we committed to. Teresa and I are working to get the initial testing going for the folks that are going to try that for us. Our tentative start date is the August 20th payroll. So that's open to all employees that want to contribute to an additional retirement account voluntarily. And then we are also working on the fire union contract had some specific language about another retirement assistance piece, which is $1,000 per year per fireman. We're getting that also going through the process, and hopefully I'm giving myself the same deadline with that. So August 20th is our goal to have that underway as well.
Very good. Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion to table resolution 3767 for an assignment and assumption agreement for 712 Lost. The bonding attorneys, we need to meet with them and just didn't have everything ready for tonight. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with that. So looking for a motion to table.
So moved, McEwen.
Second,
Lines.
okay, roll call please.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes.
Lines,
Yes.
McEwen.
Yes.
And then the resolution for the mutual aid agreement with Offutt that we discussed during the committee meeting. Resolution 3768, we'll ask for a motion for that, please.
Lines.
Second,
Duran?
any further discussion? Roll call please.
Duran,
Yes.
McEwen,
Yes.
Lines,
Yes.
Reinhardt.
Yes.
Thank you. And we have a community development block grant, resolution 3769, the contract with Tallgrass. And this is for the phase 1 archaeological survey for Arbor Hills, and the amount of $17,437. Motion
Reiner.
and a second.
Duran?
And any further discussion? We talked about this previous meeting. Roll call, please.
McEwen,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Yes.
Lines.
Yes.
And then a motion to request an extension for IDDA contract on the Birch Street CDBG grant until September 30th of 2026. Motion
So moved, Duran?
and a second.
McEwen.
And any further discussion? And Courtney, you want to speak on the reason for that?
Yeah, so they are still waiting on some paperwork from one of the contractors that didn't have the proper, it's called a UEI, a unique entity identifier that the federal government requires. They've been really struggling to get that from that contractor, so they're trying to get a decision from the state whether or not they can forego it because they've tried. So many times and just haven't been able to get it. So the extension is to continue to make sure that we can do that port, or if we need to continue to try to find this information from the contractor.
Is that on them for not getting it in the first place?
It is. It's on the Hughes contractor. And yeah, what ended up happening is they hired a contractor who ended up subbing out the work. And that just happened to be the day someone was there and did some interviewing. So the contractor didn't know that they had subbed the work out, and that contractor didn't know that they had to get these special things in place. So it kind of snowballed.
Does that mess with any of the grant money?
It does not.
Okay.
I personally think they're probably going to have to say, okay. I think that they've shown enough effort to try to get that. It's not a Davis-Bacon prevailing wages project. It's really about what's called Section 3 hour reporting, that you need to have this. If you're doing business with the federal government or getting federal funds, you have to have a UEI. I think they got that part, but they still haven't reported some of their hours. So they're really trying to do what they can. It's just waiting for someone.
Okay.
And just so that we put it out there for the Tallgrass contract, the city will pay for that. It can be reimbursed by the grant that we have. That being said, I think that there's discussion whether or not, because that is technically a GMU/Hughes issue that has arisen, whether or not we would like to seek reimbursement for that cost. It is allowed, but we will be able to be reimbursed for the grant for this piece. And that's, again, we're assuming that nothing else, that the process goes through and this is just a formality. They did find today that some of the work was done in the floodplain, so we are going to have to do some additional postings that were not accounted for in the original environmental assessment. So it's already a little bit more than we had hoped this would be, but SWPCO's working on that.
Roll call, please.
McEwen,
Yes.
Lines,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes.
Reiner.
Yes.
The Community Development Block Grant Revitalization Projects. Before we do the motion to approve, do you want to give them an update?
Yeah, so we are down to punch list items. There's a few property owners that have bigger, like the one a couple doors down, they're still waiting on their windows. There's an issue with the one across the street where we have it looks like duct tape on where the eyebrow over the window is. Unfortunately, that's in Illinois trying to be crafted, and we're really at the mercy of the contractor in Illinois trying to get that done. There are a couple projects that there's perhaps some disagreement from property owners on what needs to be done. Right now, I have told, and I committed myself with the contractor and SWPCO to really just go through and try to figure out. We had over 50 change orders on this project, which is, holy smokes, that is a lot. So figuring out where all those things go, because in the end, we're still going to have to go through that with each of those property owners so that they can be responsible for their local match. And then we know how much we have in our match piece. So my goal is to try to go through some of that and work with Tammy at SWPCO to figure out what that looks like. They are supposed to be here this week with the masons to finish up some of the remaining tuck pointing and painting that needs to happen. They were supposed to be here yesterday and they didn't make it. Again, this is the subcontractor for the contractor. So we are trying to do better on the communication side with some of those things. Our goal is July 30th as a closeout, complete work done. So we are in the home stretch. We're going to stay strong.
Are they
2
moving
weeks.
that piece of equipment down off?
It is not their equipment.
It isn't, so it belongs to the county.
Yeah. So we just probably need
Thank you
to.
for checking on that.
Yes. Oh, sorry. The last thing with that, and again, I don't need a decision today, but something just to think about. There's going to be about $20,000 total that is going to be left by the time this is all said and done. That is from the grant from the city and our piece of the contingency that isn't being used. And I think we just need to decide as a group if we want to give that back to the businesses that went over on their project. So there are a couple that had significant additional work. Or if we want to say we're not contributing that, if we did it, we said we were going to do it by building and this is what that number was. I think that's probably a bigger discussion. But when we get to that point, we have just a little bit of money left over that can be decided upon.
Thank you for
A
that.
bit of good news.
You've gotten very up to date in your very short amount of time. So thank you for that. I'm like blown away that you were like, awesome. Yeah,
Yes,
there was a
for
lot.
motion to approve, speaking of this, change order COR number 50 with Cornerstone.
So moved, Duran?
And a second.
McEwen?
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Reiner,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes.
McEwen,
Yes.
Lyons.
Yes.
Okay, and a motion to approve a commercial contractor for reduction in an awning size at 11 North Lyons. The deduction amount is $912. So a motion, please,
So move, Reiner.
and a second.
Duran?
And any further discussion on that?
Reduction in awning size?
Price came down because they changed the size of the awning.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
What is that? Okay.
Okay, roll call, please.
Reiner,
Yes.
Duran,
Yes.
Lyons,
Yes.
McEwen.
Yes.
Thank you. In mayor report, I will make a statement that Officer Chase did come in and make payment in full for his debt to the city. So I thank everybody for their help on that. And then Jamie and I talked, he's gonna turn the lights off sometime this week for the 4th of July party. The red lights. Yeah, it's been nice, but, you know. it costs money.
Fireworks are done.
Fireworks are done. And then I know Jamie talked a little bit about what he's got for overtime and stuff. I have not heard, and I don't know if you probably have not heard anything from ICAP or you on our claim, it's with our storm damage. I know they came down and looked, so we're still waiting to hear from ICAP. So I just want to counsel to know. We did pay the bill, or will be paying the bill for $20-some thousand. We just took it out of, under the administrative code, 620, and so it'll go back to that, or Jamie has suggested if we don't receive funds, that we could split it between his departments, cemetery and parks that had damage, share the cost, but hoping that we get some kind of insurance recovery on that. And then Friday, I will be leaving on vacation. I will be out of the state, so Mayor Pro Tem Mike Lyons will be in charge to work with everybody. I will miss the next meeting. I don't get back until the next night at midnight, so sorry. Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you. Council member report. Does council have anything they'd like to share? Motion to adjourn then.
So moved. McEwen?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. 7:57.